Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show how to use two different templates for creating missions and campaigns for Descent in the Road to Legend app. The two templates mainly differ in the content. One template is only meant for building single skirmish-like missions, and the other template is meant for creating complete campaigns. But the campaign template has in the single missions, it contains also the same logic as the mission template. So let's directly start. We will go to GitHub. You can find the link below in the video description. And here we will click at the clone or download link for the mission template first, which I will show now. It will be downloaded. And afterwards, we will need to copy the Descent mission template folder to our Valkyrie directory. And in the Valkyrie directory in the editor file folder. And now the next thing you should do is rename the folder of the template, because this will be also the folder name when you publish the mission afterwards. So I will just enter a random name here. My new quest 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we can go to Valkyrie. Start it. And go to the Descent section. And now we find our mission here in the quest editor. So the first thing we should do here now is also rename our quest. So my new quest 1, 2, 3, and enter another description here. So as you can see, there isn't a lot of UI content in the template, only some search tokens for 2 to 4 players, so 2 for 2 players, 1 additional for 3 players, and 1 additional for 4 players. When the players click at the tokens, some flavor text should be shown. Afterwards, the heroes can execute a search action, and then they will get some gold and draw a search card. The gold is already predefined here. You only need to change this value. Afterwards, the heroes will automatically get this amount of gold. So everything else that's important is happening in the events.ini file. And all important events can be found here. So let's start with the start event, which will be executed when the mission first starts. All important variables you're using in your mission should be set here in this event. And afterwards, the predefined setup event should always follow, which tells the heroes which tiles they should prepare for the mission. And then the introduction part of the mission can begin, where some kind of introduction text is shown. That's all for the start events. Afterwards, you could add some additional events like placing the first tiles of your missions and tokens, and maybe even some of those search tokens here. So other important events are the start and end round events. Those two events always occur using another trigger at the start and at the end of every mission. So all important variables which should reset at the start of each round should be assigned here, and all events that follow at the start of each round should afterwards be created here in this follow-up event, start round events. So for example, if some spawns would appear every round, you would add them here by adding a spawn event. So I'll go here to new spawn, say zombie. And the text says place the type group as shown, or even better, place one monster of the type group as shown. It should be placed somewhere at our map. And what's super important afterwards, you would have to call the start round event again. And to prevent that this will make an unlimited loop, we will set a variable here saying zombie spawned, and this will be set to 0. The event itself will check if zombie spawned is still 0. Sorry, it will be set to 1, not to 0. So it will be checked if zombie spawned is 0, and in our start round event, we will, no, start round, not the start event, we will assign zombie spawned to 0. So this means this variable is only set to 0 once every round, and afterwards only once every round the zombies will spawn. So let's test this. I didn't set this event to start in the second round, so that's why it already occurs here. And as you can see, it will say place one monster of the zombie group as shown. Let's end the round again. The next round started, and the event will be called again. So the same logic for the end round trigger. So this will be stuff that isn't triggered at the start of each round, but at the end of each round. And there's already one event in here called perils. The perils are a special logic in Descent Road to Legend that make the game a little bit harder for the heroes if they take too much time to finish their mission. So this could be stuff like some spiders appear at the end of the 5th round and the heroes have to defeat them. This stuff is already predefined. So here in the variables below, you can set when this peril should be started. So for my use case, I will now set the peril to at the end of round 1, the peril number 1. So let's test this. Start event, our start round event will end the first round. At the end of the first round, nothing will happen because the peril will always trigger at the end of the next round when it's triggered. So I set it to 1, and therefore the text will be shown at the end of round 2. So that's why I will end round 2 now, and we will see a peril text is shown, which is randomly chosen and shows what will happen to the heroes. Okay. That was the start and end round events. Now the last important events are the victory and defeat events. Those events should be triggered by your event logic somehow, and those events will then tell the heroes that they have won or lost the encounter. And afterwards, they will end the encounter with another follow-up event, which will bring the heroes or the players to the rating screen for rating your mission. And the last important thing, the no moral event, when the heroes reach less than 0 moral, this event will automatically be called, and then the defeated event should always be triggered. If you don't want this, you can do something else here and maybe remove the defeated event just so show some kind of text. Just to test this. 2 moral, so 0 moral, and now afterwards, if another hero dies, the no moral event is triggered, and afterwards the defeated event is triggered. And as you can see, this automatically brings me back to my quest editor. This was all you need to know about the mission template. Before we now look at the campaign template, which has some more variables and other logic stuff we can set, just a warning, please don't start with a huge campaign as your first steps in Valkyrie. It's always better to just create a single mission in the mission template. Otherwise, you will definitely just fail building your campaign and you will never release anything. Therefore, my advice, please just start with a single mission, which can be cool too. And otherwise, if the people like it, then go on for a full campaign. So the campaign template can also be found on GitHub. The link is also in the video notes. We will download it too using the download button. And again, we will move it to our folder, our Valkyrie folder. I haven't unpacked it, so we only need this folder here. Copy it. The first thing we should do now is again rename our folder. So this will be my new campaign. 1, 2, 3. And now we can open this stuff in the Valkyrie editor again. So we go to the quest editor and now we see a bunch of new missions here. I will do a different approach here. I will first show how the look and feel of the campaign is, and afterwards I will have a look at the logic that's behind this stuff. So we will now start this project mission here, Valkyrie Descent campaign template. So this is the start screen of the campaign. Here you should replace this image with some kind of image that fits to your campaign. You should add an introduction text here, and that's it for this. Then the heroes click at the start button and will be redirected to the campaign map. Here you should put in your custom campaign map or one of the built-in Valkyrie maps, because there are already some maps you can use there, which have been exported from the Road to Legend app. Then the heroes can click at the city icon here and go to the city. If they would have gained some gold in the beginning of the mission, they could now already buy some stuff. Restock and visiting the black market are two possibilities to get randomly new items here without waiting for the next mission. So if the heroes don't like the items here, they can use one of these two options. Visit black market needs 50 gold to be paid, and restock needs a restock value, which the heroes can get maybe as a reward at the end of the mission. So as you can see here, restock is currently not available. Therefore, I can't restock. So when the heroes now leave the city again, the first mission will appear. Again, you can click at the icon. and say start encounter. Now the so-called travel step will start, and randomly the heroes have to do some travel stuff. This can be events that are good for the heroes or bad, or sometimes the heroes can even decide what they want to do. Currently in the template there are always 2 or 3 travel events for the missions. So in this case it's 3 travel events, and afterwards if I click continue again the mission will start. So now most of the logic is the same as I already showed in the mission template. Only one difference. We have a debug token here. So this villager token, when you click at it, you can simulate the victory or defeated event of your mission, because this will bring you back again to the campaign map. Before publishing your campaign at the end, removing these debug tokens is the first thing you should do. So I'll say defeat now. Now the defeat event is triggered. The heroes get some gold and some XP and some fame. And now they will be redirected to the world map again. They can go to the city again, buy some items if they have enough gold. And afterwards, the next quest starts, and so on until the final mission. So as I said before, the heroes got some XP too, so they could now set some experience point stuff. And that's mainly it for the look and feel of the campaign. Just to show you how the finale screen looks, I will just click through all of the upcoming missions, which will go quite fast because of the debug tokens. And afterwards we will see how the final screen of the campaign looks like. So this was mission 3, so 2 more missions to follow before the finale. Mission 4 and mission 5. And now when we leave the city again, there's a slightly different text telling that this is the final encounter of the campaign. And if we now lose this encounter, instead of going back to the campaign screen, we will go to the campaign end screen, or if we win it, so I will use the victory condition here. And now you will see that here is another image which could be placed here, and if you have defined some text for your finale, it will be shown here. Because of my resolution, you can see this button currently. It's a credits button. If you click it, my screen is too small here. Okay, now it's working. You should just say who was the creators of the campaign, and maybe if you used some custom sound effects, you could credit them here too. And afterwards, if you click End Campaign, the same as the end event of the mission template will happen. The heroes will be redirected to the rating screen. So let's now have a look how those stuff works. If you're only interested in getting the campaign to run at all, everything you need to do is setting a number of quests, events. Those events are called here in the campaign start quest. And those events are started at the event initialize campaign event. So all the follow-up events are important for setting variables for your campaign. So let's start with the fame event. Fame is used for setting which items the heroes can see in the shop. while playing Road to Legend. So this means if the heroes gain a specific level of fame, they will get better items. And there are currently those 4 levels here in Valkyrie. So impressive is the first level, then follows celebrated, then heroic, and afterwards legendary. Legendary meaning that if the heroes reach currently 32 fame, they will get to be able to buy the best items in the game available. So if you want to start your heroes with an already higher level, you would now have to set the fame here. And if you want to be able, the heroes to be able to reach a level more early, you would have to reduce those values here. So afterwards, other important variables here in the initialize gold, restock, and act event is the start gold of the heroes, the start experience, the restock amount variable. This is the restock part, which I showed before in the demo. But I will show this again when I set this. So let's just go back and set our fame to a quite high level. So maybe to 23. And let's give the heroes a lot of gold. Not something you would want to do in a normal campaign, because this destroys the balance, and a lot of XP and some restock amount, so they will be able to use the restock functionality quite a number of times. Important here, the current act. This is just the start act of the game, so this is only used for internal purposes, but if you want to have the heroes already use monsters of Act 2 for some reason, you could set this here, but you would also have to tell the heroes in one of the follow-up events, which are currently not part of the template, so you would have to define such an event somewhere. So another important event, the number of quests. So this determines how many quests are used in the template. Currently you can do 2 to 6 quests. So 1 quest and 1 finale, or 5 normal quests and 1 finale, and so on. So I will now set this to 3. And now the last important variable we can set is this one, campaign phase start. This means that not as I have shown before, when the heroes start the campaign, they will start at the campaign map, but instead they will directly start with the first mission. So that's I'm gonna do now here and say campaign phase start will become 0. And when I now start the campaign, yeah, as I said, the heroes will directly start in the first mission. And one last variable we can set here. If you want at some point that the heroes get a text that they should now switch from Act 2 monster or Act 1 monsters to Act 2 monsters, you could set this transition enabled variable to 1 and tell the game when the transition would happen. So because I have now set it to only having 3 missions in the campaign at all, I will set this to 2. So this means that after the second quest, the transition message will appear. So that was all of the variables you need to set. All other events here are just some logic stuff. We don't need to set anything here. So now we can test this again. Get our intro screen. And as you can see, we directly start in the first mission. And if we now have a look at our items, we can see the gold we have set and the XP points we have set. There's currently no built-in way using those buttons here to show how much fame the heroes have. But here in the debug mode, we can also see this using the internal variables. So fame is currently 23. And if I now use the debug token again and we go to the city screen, we can see that there's quite some better weapons shown here. So already Act 2 weapons because we set the fame so high. And we can use the restock value. So you can see here it can now be used 10 times. And now it will automatically restock. So 9 times. And again, new weapons to buy here. Okay. That was the basic logic of our campaign. And just to show you that the transition message will be shown when I finish quest 2, I will now do this too. Here's the transition message, now saying return all Act 1 cards and use the Act 2 cards instead. And because I set the template to only use 3 missions, now the finale will already start. This time we use the defeat text. I have already added some flavor text here. And again, we end the campaign using this button. So this was everything you need to know to get the campaign template running. If you want to look deeper at the code, you can check out the project wiki of the campaign template. There are already some information there how you can, for example, change the travel events or add more missions to the template if you need more than 6 missions. So this was all for this video. Check out the wiki if you need more information in the mission template and in the campaign template. And as usual, check out the Discord community, which is also linked in the show notes.